You want more? Then forget everything you've been told about dreaming. No one's coming. No one's calling. No one's handing you the life you whisper about when the room is quiet. This world belongs to those who don't wait for permission. The ones who rise earlier, dig deeper, and never ask, "Am I allowed?" They declare, "I've already started." This message is your breaking point. Listen, if you're ready to trade fine for your more, because what's next has no room for regret, only action. Everyone wants more, deeper relationships, greater wealth, bigger impact. But here's the truth. More doesn't come to those who wait, dream, or plan. It comes to those who do more. You can't rise to a new level by staying at the old intensity. The world doesn't reward what you wish for. It rewards what you invest. And not once, but every single day, when you're tired, when no one's watching, when it's not working. Here's the raw truth. If you want more than what you have to become more than who you are. And that doesn't happen without pressure, without sweat, without serious work. Dreams aren't fairy tales. They're built under pressure you choose to carry. There's no injustice here, just math. You get what you earn, not what you wish, not what you hope, what you do. And not just any action, action that exceeds your norm. You want more? Then outgrow who you were. Because only those who do more earn a different life. More, dreaming is easy. Wanting more, it's natural. But more doesn't live in your imagination. It lives just past your limit. And that limit, it's always uncomfortable, always painful, always guarded by your resistance, your habits, your fears. If you're not doing more, you don't really want more. You're just picturing it. Real desire shows up not in how much you feel, but in how far you're willing to go, especially when it's hard, especially when others stop. The limit isn't outside. It's internal. And every time you say, "That's too much," you're face to face with it. That's the crossroads. Stay who you've been or break who you were to become someone new. More doesn't come from magic, or waiting, or wishing. It comes from going past the standard. If you've done 10 reps, do 15. If you wrote once a week, write daily. If you ran one project, run two. Because growth only happens beyond your comfort zone. Want to live different? Then act different. Not next Monday, today, right now. Everything you want, it already exists. But it won't show up until you pay full price. And that price, it's not just time and effort. It's focus, consistency, risk, sacrifice. And most of all, it's the willingness to give more than you're used to. You can't build a new life with old habits. You can't rise to a new level with yesterday's pace. Life is fair. It pays out in proportion to what you put in. Take a hard look. How much are you giving right now? Not dreaming, not talking, doing. And is it more than yesterday? If not, don't expect tomorrow to change. Tomorrow is just a reflection of today's sacrifice. If that sacrifice is small, your result will be too. Want freedom? Then work harder. Want recognition? Then invest in mastery. Want your own business? Then double the work of the person who already owns one. Because more doesn't answer to requests, it responds to investment. Give more, get more. It's law. More. Some things don't respond to thinking. Some dreams aren't unlocked by inspiration. Some goals don't care about your tears. They demand something else. Not emotion, but effort. Not hope, but hard character. And that character, it's built from sweat, repetition, and consistency. More doesn't show up for those who really want it. It shows up for those who consistently do the work. The ones who don't ask if it's convenient. The ones who get up while others are still sitting. Reams are heavy. You carry them. And to carry them, you need muscle. Not just physical, mental. Discipline, grit, commitment. Complaining won't build you a ladder. Excuses won't lay your foundation. Only action. Only you. Only sweat instead of sorrow. Want more? Then stop talking about it. and start working for it. Want more? The life you dream of, it won't show up by accident. No one's knocking with a pre-packaged successful future. No one's coming to save you. Your more is your responsibility. And if you don't chase it, no one will. Ask yourself right now, why don't I already have what I want? And the honest answer isn't time or circumstances. It's that you haven't gone all in. You've been doing just enough to stay comfortable. But more starts where comfort ends. You think you have time, but while you think someone else is doing, while you plan, they're finishing. And when you finally meet at the finish line, the difference won't be talent. It'll be timing. Your dream isn't waiting for a perfect moment. It's waiting for your breakthrough. And breakthroughs demand brutal choices. Either I go all in, or I waste years. The longer you delay, the more of yourself you lose. The longer you delay, the more of yourself you lose. But let's be real. If not you, then who? If not now, then when? Everyone wants breakthrough, recognition, depth. But the real test, it's not your goals, not how much you know. The real test is what you do when it gets hard. Because that's where more truly begins. Where it hurts, where you're tired, where procrastination shows up, when every part of you wants to stay down and you rise anyway. Most people stop when it gets tough. That's why most people don't get what they want. They see fatigue as failure, but fatigue is proof you're growing. More never feels easy. It always brings tension. And if you can move through it, you can move through anything. Because then, it's not your mood that moves you, it's your decision. You become the one who does, not the one who just talks. It gets hard, and then it gets easy. But only because you've changed. The struggle stays. You just outgrow it. Want results? Then work, especially when you don't see them yet. The gap between those who grow and those who stay stuck almost never starts with talent, conditions, or luck. It starts with response. When a challenge hits, some take action. Others start explaining. Some adapt. Others analyze why now's not the time. The one who wants more doesn't wait for a green light, doesn't wait for perfect timing, doesn't look for someone to blame. They take responsibility. They don't find time, they make it. They don't wait for fear to go away. They move anyway. They don't look for motivation. They become their own engine. Excuses are cozy. They feel smart. But they build nothing. Action, even messy action, creates motion. It builds momentum. Who wants more stops asking why not now and starts asking what can I do today? And that's why they move when others stall. When others explain, they execute. Results come to those who choose action over argument. Dear Zeld, your biggest limits? They're not outside you, they live inside. In quiet voices saying you've done enough. You won't last. You're not like them. But those voices aren't facts. They're just old scripts, echoes of past experience, trying to write your future. If you want more, you have to stop believing yourself, or at least stop believing the old version of you. Because that old voice speaks in fear, in doubt, in comfort, and more speaks in challenge. Real growth happens when you stop trusting your mental reflexes. When you stop saying I'm not ready and start asking who told me that? That questioning, it's where the next level is born. The moment you stop believing in you're not enough, you break the system that's held you down. More doesn't require confidence. It demands action even while doubt still lives inside you. And the first real step isn't outward, it's inward. It's inward, into the old self, to break the identity that no longer matches the life you want. Maud, people glamorize success. They say he had talent, she had connections, they got lucky. But strip it all away, and beneath every great result is one thing: endurance. Not genius, not being special, just staying in the game longer than others. More demands that you keep going when your mood leaves. Keep pushing when it hurts. Don't quit when progress stalls. That's not heroism. That's professional endurance. It's a muscle you build, not with hype, but with habit. People think success is in the breakthrough, but it's in the load over time, in the ability to maintain pressure, to go again when everything says stop. Endurance means you don't ask, when will I get results? You say, I'm here and I'll stay until they come. Even without a perfect start, you'll cross the finish. Because finishers aren't the fastest. They're the ones who didn't quit. If you're waiting for someone to notice you, open the door, give you a shot you've already lost. More isn't handed out. It doesn't come to those who quietly hope. More is claimed by those bold enough to take it. That might sound harsh, but it's truth. You don't get more because you deserve it. You get more because you act like someone who does. The right isn't in your degree, your background, your luck. It's in your movement, your resolve, your courage to say, this is mine and I'll pay the price. More doesn't trickle down. It's pulled from the ground by your hands, your grind, your system. Even when it's not working, if you really want it, you don't back off. You're not playing the game where someone gives it to you. You're building your own where you set the rules. Stop asking. Start taking. Don't wait for permission. Create the precedent. Put yourself at a level you don't belong and earn the right to stay. That's the path to more. You won't find bigger opportunities until you take bigger responsibility. This world is overflowing with words and starving for action. People talk non-stop about plans, dreams, ideas, opportunities. They're full of desire, but empty in execution. That's why they stay, because it's not thoughts that shape reality, it's action. The one who wants more doesn't wait for the perfect plan. He doesn't build ideas fit for debate. He just starts. While others craft presentations, he has results. While they look for guarantees, he's already moving. While they wait for a sign, he hits the start line and runs. More always shows up where movement lives. Not because the action was flawless, but because action is the only language the world responds to. Not dreams, not concepts, but gestures, moves, strikes. And the worst failure is looking back and knowing you could have, but didn't. That you had the vision, but never moved. That the path was clear, but you froze. And then more isn't your dream, it becomes your regret. So move while others talk, and become the one they quote later. You can't level up while clinging to yesterday's standards. If your bar is just don't slip, you'll stay exactly where you are. Life doesn't respond to your wishes, it mirrors your standards. And as long as that standard is low, you stay at the bottom. Your bar isn't about results, it's what you call normal. If skipping a day is acceptable, you'll skip your life. If almost is fine, then your life will be almost great. Raising the bar means asking yourself daily, is this my best or just what's easy? And if the honest answer is, I could do more, then you've already fallen behind your potential. You can't grow unless you force yourself past the line. Not for one day, but until the new level becomes your norm. Then the world responds, because the world doesn't ignore those who expect more from themselves than life ever demanded. Your new height starts at a new limit, and that limit, it lives in your daily choices. Life doesn't pay you for showing up. It pays for initiative, for the things you do without permission, without applause, without someone watching. That's the gap between being and becoming. The one who wants more doesn't wait for motivation. He commands himself. He knows what I want won't come to me. I must start it, even when it's quiet, even when no one notices. Initiative isn't just action, it's power. It says, I've already decided. It's when you stop asking, what will they let me do, and act like it all depends on you. Because it does. Look around at your life, your freedom, your depth, your results. It always reflects your level of personal initiative. If it's not enough, don't blame the world. Shift you. Your tomorrow's level depends on today's step, without permission. The biggest test on your path to more is patience. It's easy to act when the reward is right there, but real strength, it's when you keep going with no result in sight. That's where the difference is made. Are you here for quick wins, or are you laying a foundation for years to come? More doesn't arrive fast. It doesn't land after 3 tries. It visits those who understand results follow process. If you want to leave a legacy, not just a spark, you must embrace the delay of reward. That means showing up without applause, working without likes, finishing even when it feels like no one's watching. And in that silence, you start to outlast everyone who chased easy. Real more isn't just a new level. It's a new style, one that doesn't rely on short-term highs, but on long-term vision. And if you can hold that stretch of silence, the impact that follows will be louder than you ever imagined. It doesn't start with motivation or with the perfect plan. It starts with responsibility, with the moment you stop blaming and say, "This is on me, and nothing will change until I do." Most aren't ready for more, not because they're incapable, but because they're still playing the role of the passenger, saying they didn't help me, they didn't get me, I didn't get my chance. But truth is, what holds you back the most isn't the limits around you. It's the lack of control within you. Responsibility isn't blame, it's power. It's when you stop waiting and start owning everything. Your actions, your failures, your lessons, your growth. That's why the one who owns it always beats the one with talent. Because he can repeat success. He knows the outcome is his job. The moment you take full responsibility, you grow fast. Because your energy stops feeding excuses and starts fueling execution. That's the shift from I wish to I do, from maybe to mine. While you wait, someone else already claimed your more. We all hit walls. That moment where your mind screams, "Enough, I can't do more, this is too much." And most people stop right there. They treat the wall like a ceiling, like a place they can't rise beyond. But real growth begins when you realize that wall isn't the end, it's a test. Your ceiling, it's not your nature, it's your habit. A habit of quitting when discomfort peaks. But if you want more, you've got to punch through, again and again. No hesitation, no maybe tomorrow. With every breakthrough, your ceiling becomes your new floor. There is no breakthrough without pressure. No more without a moment that makes you think you're breaking. But that's where the new you is born. Everyone who broke through wasn't superhuman. They were just the ones who didn't stop, who didn't accept enough as the finish line, who took one more step, one more rep, one more shot. You will meet your wall. The question is not if. The question is, what will you do when you meet it again? People live by what's normal, the pace others move at, the effort their circle shows. But that's the trap. If your surroundings think small, you'll absorb their limit without even noticing. But your limit isn't where others stop. It's where you decide not to. If you want more, stop measuring yourself by someone else's ruler. Set your own, even if it looks crazy to them. Because normal never built anything exceptional. Let your standard be high, not to prove you're better, but because you chose more. So that pushing further, cutting distractions, and staying in the game longer doesn't feel heroic. It just feels right. Raise your bar. Change your conversations. Change your tempo. Change you. And you'll find that what others call impossible, you now call normal. Because more doesn't wait for the world. It answers to those who rewrite the rules. Throughout, comfort is sneaky. It doesn't scream, it whispers. Stay here, this is familiar, this is safe. And without realizing it, you're caged. The wall's made of routine, of excuses, of fear that masks itself as wisdom. Want more? Then accept this. Comfort is not your friend. It's not pushing you forward, it's holding you still. While you sit in that warm, worn-out version of fine, your true potential waits outside the fence. Stepping out of comfort, it's disorienting, it's scary. But fear is movement. Fear is breath. Only in the unknown do you build something new. In comfort, you just repeat. Don't fear the shake, fear the stillness. Don't fear the effort. Fear a quiet life with no growth. If you don't feel internal resistance, you're not growing. You've just hit pause on your dreams. So here's your choice. Either you break your comfort zone, or it breaks your ambition. One of the most dangerous illusions is thinking change will just happen. That if you wait long enough, things will shift. When the moment is right, when the mood is better. But here's the truth. Change doesn't happen. It's triggered, and only by those who act before they're ready. If you want more, don't wait. Agitate. Apply pressure. Step into rooms that scare you. Make promises that force you to grow. Put yourself in situations you can't escape comfortably. Because only there, under pressure, do new strengths emerge. Don't wait for ease. It will never spark breakthrough. Breakthrough is a clash with comfort. The harder you hit your old life, the faster a new one responds. More doesn't respond to waiting. It moves when you push. If you don't shake your own world, nothing changes. The world shifts only for those who create friction. So apply pressure on yourself, on your environment, and reality will have to adjust. Though that moment when tension rises, when doubt creeps in, when the fight inside gets loud, that's when most people retreat. Because they were taught if it hurts, it must be wrong. If it's scary, it's not for you. But the ones who grow, they know better. Discomfort is proof you've crossed a line, that you're finally stepping into real growth. Life's not punishing you with challenge, it's asking, are you ready for more? And if you run at the first push, you haven't chosen the real you yet. Growth always comes with pressure, with the feeling, I'm not enough. But that's where the gold is. That's where your hidden strength gets revealed. That's where discipline is born. Where your focus gets forged. Where you finally see what you're really made of. Train yourself when it gets hard. That's not your cue to stop. That's the signal you're close. And if you learn to stay when others step off, you'll reach places they never will. Because those who live in the growth zone don't run from discomfort. They know that's exactly where more is born. Most people treat success like it's some kind of mystery, like it's reserved for the chosen few, arriving at the perfect time, under perfect conditions. But that's an illusion. Success is never random. It's the outcome of a consistent process. And that process begins with one question. Are you willing to do more than what's expected? Success doesn't visit the ones who simply do their job. It finds those who exceed the job, who act when others rest, who build when others consume, who don't wait for better conditions but become stronger than the conditions. When you look at those who broke through, don't look for magic. Look for the habit of doing more. It's not obsession, it's principle. A mindset that says, I don't accept average. And because of that, the world responds. The law of success, it lives in your repetition, in your refusal to stop, in your decision to give more than is asked. And then success has to show up, because it has nowhere else to go. The world loves to preach balance, harmony, recovery, energy management. And yes, balance has its place. But if you want more, balance is not the goal. You need momentum. Because momentum is what breaks inertia. It's what gets things moving. It creates your new reality. Momentum is that phase where you don't weigh every move. You don't tiptoe, you charge. You overload yourself on purpose to grow beyond yourself. Because growth is imbalance. It's putting everything on the line and saying, I'll figure this out, even if I don't know how yet. The one who generates momentum lives in flow, finds rhythm, picks up speed, and then the world adjusts. Opportunities, people, breaks, they all follow momentum. Want more? Don't balance, break free. First push, then hold the pace. Balance is for those who've built. You're still building, and your engine is movement. Life leaves no empty spaces. If you don't fill it with action, it fills itself with noise. If you don't rise, you slide. If you don't claim more, you settle for less. This isn't punishment. It's just how life works. The world responds to intensity. So when you don't go all in, you're not just waiting. You're already losing ground. Because somewhere, someone is going all in. And when you meet them, it won't be talk that decides. It'll be effort. Going all out means choosing not to live in the middle, not to disrespect others, but to honor yourself. Because you know you can do more. And knowing but not doing, that's the kind of betrayal that eats you from the inside. If you don't give yourself the chance to max out, you're the one placing the ceiling. And it's not that the ceiling couldn't break. It's that you never tried. Some think more is always louder, bigger, flashier, more visible. But true more, it often begins in silence. Where you show up when no one's watching, where you finish when no one's cheering, where your results aren't loud but your effort runs deep. More isn't about the show, it's about the substance. Where you don't just do it, you craft it. You don't just dream it, you build it with meaning. The one chasing depth beats the one chasing attention, because their wins aren't random. They're engineered. They don't explode, they endure. Your more might be invisible to others, but if it's built on depth, it'll stand under any pressure, because real strength isn't in the size, it's in the system inside. Worse, in depth, that's the one thing no one can take from you. It's what separates short bursts from lifelong breakthroughs. Lifelong breakthroughs. The last illusion that holds people back is waiting for support, for a mentor, for a team, or a sign from above. But your breakthrough doesn't start when help arrives. It starts when you stop expecting it, when you stand up and say, I'll do this, even alone, even unsure, even afraid. That moment, it's the turning point, because now your energy isn't scattered, it's aimed, and the world starts responding not to your hopes but to your movement. I'll do it myself isn't arrogance, it's ownership. Because when you wait for help, you hand over control, but when you act without guarantees, you take your power back. And only then are you truly ready for more. Your breakthrough, it's not a group decision, it's a personal one. The day you stop waiting is the day everything starts moving. You don't ask, you create. You don't wonder, you work like there's no other way up. And when you do that, even if no one was there at the start, at the finish, they'll all be with you, because the world always gathers around the one who had the courage to go first.